Greetings. Back to the lies from John Hagee in his attack against Allah and Islam. It's amazing, if just his members, and the people watching those videos can understand how many lies, this guy has. And we spoke about all of them and giving the proofs. Fine. He said in his sermon, in Genesis, Jesus was the offspring of the woman who will crush Satan's head. Now, it's miserable how Christians, they make up stuff. If you go to the book of Genesis, to the event of Adam and Eve in the garden and the snake, you will have nothing saying Jesus is the offspring of this lady, our mother Eve. It's a huge lie. Where Christians find this stuff at. It's not speaking about Jesus. There are nothing about Jesus in the Old Testament. And they lie about the million prophecies. And I challenge. You have my email under the video. Send me your emails. Prove to me that you're not lying. Till then, you are lying. No. Jesus is not the offspring of Eve, our mother Eve. We are all the offsprings. And nobody have crushed the head of the snake. And according to John, it is Satan. Satan still lives with us today by our side, like by the side of this John Hagee and his like and his kind, and by the side of all those millions of Christians and Hindus and Sikh and Buddhists and you name it. Satan is by their side. And Jesus did not crush the head of the snake. And a matter of fact, this Satan, this snake, is working its best work, through the Christians who say that they believe in Jesus. So bring me one example how Jesus crushed the head of the snake. And he was the offspring of the first lady. Very well. John Hagee said that in Job, he is called Christ the Redeemer. Christ the Redeemer. Christ the Redeemer. In Job. You must be there is no such words in Job, the book of Job. Christ the Redeemer. You are lying, John Hagee. You don't know your book. Again, I tell you, you have my email under the video. Come, let me teach you. Perhaps you will understand for a change. Stop lying. In the book of Job, there is not even one verse that says Christ the Redeemer. There was no Christ back then. Not before you arrived with your lies. Isaiah called him Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. All right, so there are, John Hagee spoke so many lies here, falsely claiming that this Isaiah is about Jesus Christ. And I said they don't have not even one prophecy about Jesus in the Old Testament. And here's a chance to prove it. Didn't take long. So let's go to Isaiah 9:6. This is where the verse, came in the book, the Old Testament. And John lied about it. It says, for us a child is born. Hold on a minute. The miserable, stupid sect of the Baptists in the USA, They call Jesus, the man, God. He is God the Father, the Son, the Ghost. He is God. So, according to John Hagee and his kind, those liars, claiming that this prophecy in Isaiah is about Jesus, then for us a child is born. This child is what? Is God. God, a child born for you. God, who created all the children, he became a child, playing with his mouth, breastfeeding, urinating on himself. There were no Pampers back then for God to piss in and shit and smell bad. God, a child born for you. To us, a son is given. Son. Yes. So he is the son of the Israelis now, not the son of God. Right? Because it's for us, to us, not to God, a son is given. No, to us, a son is given. This is not about Jesus Christ. And the government will be on his shoulders. Government on his shoulders. Discussed this in a previous video. Government means he should be a prince, a ruler of some kind, a president, a king, royalty. He was none of the above. He said in the book of John, my kingdom is not out of this world. Isaiah speaking about someone who have the government on his shoulder in this world, not in the hereafter. Therefore, this is not about Jesus. You're lying, John Hagee. You and your kind are liars. Isaiah 9:6 is not about Jesus Christ. He did not have any government on his shoulder. And this prophecy was written hundreds of years before, maybe 1,000 years before the coming of Jesus Christ. So Jesus is a future to this prophecy. And he was not. And until today, after 3,000 years, we still know that, Jesus did not have any government on his shoulder. And Isaiah is not speaking about future events that far. Like the dead end. We are talking that, Jesus came 1,000 after, or hundreds of years after. At least 800 years after, or 7, whatever. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor. He will be called Wonderful Counselor. This child, Mighty God. Okay, we have the Old Testament, we have the New Testament, the lies about the prophecies about Jesus in the Old Testament, the false story and lies about Jesus in the New Testament. Found me one verse in your book that says that Jesus was Wonderful Counselor. He was called the Wonderful Counselor and he will be called Wonderful Counselor. Can you find me that verse, please? You have my email under the video. Pick it up. Send me an email. Tell me when Jesus, to his face, not after his death, from lying Paul or those writers of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I'm saying Jesus, during his life, was called Wonderful Counselor. Then Isaiah is not talking about Jesus Christ. He will be called Mighty God, Everlasting Father. Jesus was never, during his life with us here, for 32 years, or 33 years, as you like. Nobody called him Mighty God during his life, not after he died. So many lies after his death. But during his life, to his face, nobody called him Mighty God. And guess what? If he had anybody calling him Mighty God, he will shoot him in the face with a nuclear bomb. When the Israelis accused him of claiming that he is God, he said, no, I am just the Son. Go read your book, in the book of John. And he will be called Father. Show me only one verse, at least one, please. Then I'll believe that Isaiah is speaking about Jesus Christ. Not even after his death. Not even Paul lied and said Jesus is the Father. But I'm saying during his life, it says, and he will be called the Father, Mighty God, Father, Prince of Peace. I know how on the mountain he was preaching and saying, yea to the peacemaker, for they shall be called the children of God, the sons of God. But nobody called him the Prince of Peace. Never, ever, during his time. Nobody stopped him in the road and say, hey, how are you, Prince of Peace? Shake my hand. Perhaps he will say, go to hell. I am not a prince of any kind. Very well, all those lies. It's amazing. No, Isaiah 9:6 is not about Jesus Christ. And John Hagee and his kind lie so bad. No prophecies in the Old Testament about Jesus Christ. You have my email. Zechariah called him the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Now check out this miserable lie from John Hagee. If you go into Bible Gateway or any concordance, search for those words, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, you will find it only in 3 places in the New Testament. One place is in 1 Timothy 6:13 and 14. This liar Paul made this lie. And then, John, whoever wrote Revelation, this nightmare of Revelation, copied from this man, Paul, the liar. So it came in 1 Timothy, and it came also in Revelation, the book of Revelation 17, 14 and 19, 16. That's the only places, only 3 places. Zechariah did not say King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So it doesn't take much, for Christians to discover how much of a liar John Hagee is. He preached to a mega church, many members in his church, hundreds and thousands. Yet he doesn't understand his book. That's miserable. No, Zechariah did not call him King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So we stop here about King of Kings and Lord of Lords, because I need to discuss those words next time. Take care.